Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I like to discuss an upcoming court case related to, sugar of all things, but actually represents the government targeting tax cuts to companies who supported them corruptly. But it's not just a Tory corruption issue, it's a test case for what any government can do post-Brexit with state aid. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So really, this is a test case for what the government can do with its newfound Brexit freedoms. In essence, this is about the UK government dropping import tariffs on raw cane sugar for the whole of 2021. Now, what makes this an issue is there is basically one main refiner of raw cane sugar in the UK, the American firm Tate & Lyle. And when I say the American firm, I could describe that as the foreign-owned Tory-donating Brexit-supporting Tate & Lyle. And consider what a cuts to import tariffs are. It's effectively giving them taxpayer money. That's money that should be collected and used for running public services or improving infrastructure or paying for massive flags to just stamp them into the dirt, whatever. It's a clear case of rewarding those who back the Tories and their dangerous policies. But this decision is being challenged by British Sugar because they refine sugar from sugar beet. And there's your other angle. You could say about this, the government want to give £12 million of taxpayer money to a foreign company in order to help it gain a competitive advantage over a British company. And the British company has requested a judicial review into the decision, and the High Court has agreed. What has really happened here? British Sugar, they're also reported to have said that the move is in breach of the Northern Ireland Protocol and the Trade and Cooperation Agreement because it adversely impacts EU producers as well as British ones. This is in reference to Article 10 of the Northern Ireland Protocol that says any UK state aid that could impact on agricultural products traded with Northern Ireland has to be referred to the European Commission for approval. Oh yeah, when Boris Johnson and David Frost said that their deals mean that we don't have anything decided by the EU anymore, yeah, they lied. Shocker, I know. The main argument will centre around whether a tariff reduction can be considered a state subsidy. The government seem to think that because they're not giving them money, as far as I understand it, rather just not charging them, that it's different. But to me, it's a little bit like if your landlord lets you off with the rent 1 month, that's the equivalent of them giving you money to the same amount as the rent costs. I imagine the other part of the argument will centre around whether it is targeted. The reduction in tariffs applies to the product. So the government will just say, well, we are dropping tariffs on raw cane sugar. It's not a specific company. But when only one company is going to benefit from that, is there a material difference? And the other thing, because the other argument really is the fact that it's there's no sensible reason to do so. Like if the government were going to say we're going to reduce tariffs on this particular thing because not doing so would mean you were going to lose tens of thousands of jobs in the country, you could argue you're doing it to boost jobs. That's not really the case here. That's not what's happening here. There's no benefit. They also, as someone pointed out, don't get to say, well, we're doing it to keep the cost of sugar down. The cost of sugar costs a few pence for a great big bag of it. And unless you're into baking cakes on a regular basis, that big old bag of sugar will last a long time. A long time. And it doesn't matter whether there is a difference as well in terms of, is this a subsidy or not? In terms of our own internal logic, what matters is the case in law. Like you can have some people go, well, I think there is a difference. You can have some people think that there isn't a difference. It really doesn't matter. What matters is in law. And it may well not be. The judge in this case, Justice Foxton, said that the case should be heard. It's absolutely quite right that this should be heard in court, but also hinted that it's going to be a difficult case to win. He wasn't saying, oh, yeah, absolutely, you've got a case here. It was more like, you might have a case here. But this case will be of interest outside of the sugar industry because it's the first test of the limits of the application of state aid outside the EU. It will also test another part of the Northern Ireland Protocol, an agreement that the government still seem to think they can just throw away. If British Sugar lose their case, I suspect we'll see other companies putting pressure on the government to cut tariffs on goods that help them as well. It will also give the green light for ministers to pretty much do what they like with our money. Again, because I don't care how they try and argue it, import tariffs are collected and form part of the country's income. When you lower it, just like when you lower taxation for the very wealthy, you lower the amount of money we have to spend on public services and infrastructure. With the Conservatives, a lot gets spent on corrupt kickbacks and flags as well, and you know that they're not going to cut back on the spending of either of those things. But if British Sugar do win the case, if it is decided that this is a breach of the Northern Ireland Protocol, it won't just represent constraints on how the government can reward donors and Brexit backers. It will do something equally powerful. It will be the first time that a court has ordered the government to comply with some aspect of the Northern Ireland Protocol. Oh, assuming it still exists. The new leader of the DUP, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson, they're third in the space of a few weeks. I hear he reckons he's going to be pushing for the entire protocol to be dropped within weeks. I shall look forward to hearing what their fourth leader this year has to say once that plan sinks like a lead weight. After all, he had no alternative plan when he was asked, so what should we replace it with then? I don't know. But that aside, I've said before, it's not just an international treaty with international consequences for non-compliance. The Northern Ireland Protocol is written into UK law. So it's an act of Parliament. So breaching it doesn't just attract international concerns. British courts will get involved as well. That being said, this cut in tariffs might not be a breach of the protocol. I couldn't possibly say. But the experienced judge who heard the arguments for and against a judicial review concluded it could go either way. And however the eventual verdict goes, and it could well end up in the Supreme Court before the end, I don't know. But however it goes, there will need to be a careful and detailed judgment given the far-reaching precedents that this case will set. And legal experts will then be poring over that judgment for signs of what the government may or may not be able to do. Because it won't just be about the verdict in this case. It will be about the reasoning, because that will allow you to see where some limits are going to start to be set now. This case is going to set a precedent. Some limit lines are going to be set. So I'll be looking forward to that, possibly in the next few months. Until then, I hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.